Hello guys, today we will talk about terrain shading, and on this tutorial we will create a terrain with tessellation effect. For this we need a DirectX system like Windows 10. This will be seems like on our game scene, on our tutorial. As you can see, all bricks are volumic. And if we will use another texture, let's set a brush size to 1. We get a different tessellation effect. On this texture we don't have any tessellation. On this texture we have a tessellation. So it's system fully compatibility with terrain using 4 brushes, first 2, and now we can create any 2 additional brushes. So let's press Ctrl Z and go to our IDE. I already create our light, which will acquire another current light. So now we must enable the terrain shading mode. For this, click on this checkbox. Set a terrain width or terrain length. At default it's 500. For this we must select our terrain, click on this gear and find the terrain width and terrain length. So 500, set it, and now we must configure our tiles. It's our brushes. As we can see, let's edit this texture. Edit texture. We set size 1, and there we set a size 1 to all of our textures. So now we must close this subtab, and we must create another, not create, bind our tiles from our terrain to our output. For this we click right mouse button, click input and terrain texture. Now we must create an albedo output and just connect it. So it's done. Our textures from terrain all binded to our shader. And we must connect at our normal output, like this texture. For this, click input, terrain normal, and connect it. Now, if we press to a play button, we will get a surface, and this surface will have only a light output, because now we don't have a terrain for binding these textures. So the shader we will test only after adding to terrain. For this we just must select from material field a custom and add our output terrain shader, terrain material. So now let's create a tessellation effect. For this we must turn on our tessellation. I already set now a field to distance based. This most optimized options of our tessellation. It's these options very common to use on tessellation shader, on terrain tessellation shader, because in fixed mode on GPU usable. Let's create a polygons multiplier to 60 and displacement to 0, 0, 0, 7. Now we must to bind our tessellation to output. For this, create a tessellation on vertex pipeline and create an input terrain displacement. This node automatically will add it to our output material uh, for um, for additional textures for displacement map. Uh, so um, Now let's play it. Okay, and let's compile to a shader for this um, creator. Yes, terrain, and now we get a terrain tessellation. Tessellate. As we can see, we get for texture displacement map for our for input terrain textures. This is textures. And now we must to set our displacement. Let's set a displacement map. And now, if we will add our material to our terrain, for this we click onto our terrain gear and set to our custom material our new material. So don't worry, it's just a bug of Unity. If we will close our Unity, select new, started. Okay, as you can see now we have a work material with the same effect like on our demo scene. So on this our lesson is over. Thank you for your time and see you in the next tutorial.